It's time for the Lowco Sports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Arraj.
Hey, the gang's all here. Lowco Sports Lowdown, Wednesday night edition. Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Arraj with you. And I'm petting a cat down here. If I seem distracted, I've got a very demanding cat right now begging me for pets. And if I don't provide him with pets, I will get claws, and I don't want claws. So we're providing the pets right now. But welcome to the Lowco Sports Lowdown. We got a few things going on tonight, including our first high school football game of week 5, a little proactive scheduling up in Colleton County. They got it in tonight against Stratford. I think it was their homecoming, which it's always weird when you have homecoming on a Wednesday night, but you also don't want to have it in the rain, I guess.
Right.
It looks like, on that note, it looks like the rest of the football slate's going to stay as is on Friday night. It looks like it should all be through, by midday.
Thursday, tomorrow is the big day. It looks like. So all the after-school events are canceled. Then we will not have any athletic events tomorrow.
Right. So tomorrow is the day. School schedules for Beaufort County will stay the same. We haven't seen any indication of anything different in Jasper either. So it looks like everybody will go to school Thursday and Friday. No after-school events on Thursday because the worst of it will be Thursday evening when we'll get the 30-plus mile-per-hour winds that would be difficult for buses to navigate and dangerous. But then by Friday noonish, we should be clearing off. As we've mentioned before, most of the fields are turf at this stage, so it shouldn't be a concern to get the games in. Should have a lovely night, actually. You know how that kind of afterglow after the hurricane passes through. Could be a really nice evening.
Outside, it's going to be a fantastic night.
Yeah, you should be in store for it. I'm jealous that I'm jealous that you get to be over there and be on the call. I'll be back in the studio, taking in everything that's going on over there and also around the Lowco because we have a busy night. Like I said last night, a lot of rivalry games, a lot of important. We got Richland, Hardyville, Battery Creek, Whale Branch. So a lot on the line. Not just in terms of region play, but also at bragging rights, rivalry games. It's always fun.
No doubt. And it got started tonight with the first game of the week, Colleton County falling 41-14 to Stratford. Jimmy Searson was there, and he may join us to give us more information. But our first update was 28-14 Stratford in the second quarter. And it was 34-14 at half, and the final was 41-14. So.
We're talking a 5A school in Stratford who's played some tough opponents to start out the year. I believe they played Daniel. I know they played Daniel. They played Somerville to start off their season. Lost to Somerville. They were coming in 1-3, but if you look at that schedule that they had to start off the year, that Colleton County was their easiest opponent by far at this point in the season. So, I think Stratford was ready for a win and a convincing win against Colleton County. But I applaud Colleton County for showing
they play a tough out of region schedule. They played some.
They really did. They were 100% did. Yeah,
and you do it on purpose. You're testing yourself because no matter what the record is, the games that matter are coming up. It's all about these.
It's a smart move by Colleton County. It means they had played battle tested opponents, so it's a good move by Colleton County. So, and I think the moves that they made last week against Stahl, especially at quarterback, I think was all the right moves, and they looked like a really good team. Granted, it is Stahl, so you don't know what to expect. But I think going into this region, I do see Colleton County as a team that could surprise some people. They got athletes, they got talented team. It's just can they get the job done? Can they, play a full 4 quarters? And I think that's the question you should ask yourself as you're heading into region play.
Yeah, definitely. We will talk a little more football later on because we'll update our power rankings that we unveiled last week. We'll see how the results from this week. This cat is driving me crazy. How the results from this week impact that, and I guess we can bake in tonight's result for for Colleton as well. Have
yeah.
knowledge. We can't really leave it out.
Yeah.
And that could, in fact, I mean, Whale Branch, Battery Creek, Colleton kind of in that same tier. So we'll see. See if that impacts anything. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. Show presented by Mickelson Law Firm, our all-star sponsor of LowcoSports and our original sponsor since 2017. Mickelson Law Firm's been supporting us. They saw what we were doing and wanted to be a part of it and help it continue to grow. And they've been with us ever since. So we appreciate them for their support of all things local sports. You'll see their signs up all over the place. Hilton Head Christian Academy, May River, Bluffton. They support everybody. BYS, they've supported us tremendously over the years. Big reason why we have those batting cages down at Oscar Frazier. So we love the Mickelsons, and we hope you'll support them. If you have legal needs, you can call on them in downtown Bluffton. They're official real estate closing attorney and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, but they can help you with all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. Tomorrow was supposed to be a big night for the volleyball, but it won't be now. But one of the matches was they had proactive scheduling with that. So they're able to get the Hilton Head at Beaufort match in tonight. And Johnny on the spot, Javon Livingston from Beaufort's Own was over there to capture the highlights. So we'll check out a little bit of the highlights here from Beaufort's Own on this Hilton Head versus Beaufort game, which went to the Seahawks. The sets were pretty close. I caught a little bit of the broadcast. Sets were competitive, but Seahawks able to finish off the W tonight against Beaufort. So I noticed that last night Bluffton lost to Bishop England. So Bishop England still looks like, the front in that region. And then it's pretty tight after that.
Yeah, I think Bluffton May River going for that number 2 spot. Yep. We were going to have that game tomorrow, but of course the weather wiping that one out, and will not be played at the Shark Tank tomorrow night. It's disappointing, but looking forward to seeing when those matches will be rescheduled and when we'll see those matches take place, because there's a lot of volleyball left in this region slate, this region schedule, and starting to show. Although it's interesting because Beaufort, I was impressed with Beaufort against Bishop England because they took them to 5 and they almost upset them. But then they kind of they took a couple L's against some other squads, including Hilton Head. So tough for Beaufort because they've been competitive against everybody, just haven't been able to pull out those big wins so far. But
and this was a big one because this one pulled Hilton Head even with Beaufort in the standings. I think I don't know if that's.
I'm trying to. If this will load up here,
actually, this one
take a live look at these standings.
Yeah, ahead of Beaufort.
Yeah. So Bishop England's 4-0, and then Hilton Head picking up the W. So I guess Hilton Head.
They'll move to 2 and 3.
Right, 2 and 3. So that's the standings. Right. Okay. So they haven't updated the standings yet from tonight's matches, I guess, but. It's close. It's tight still. A lot more left to be played, and I think you kind of see where things are developing. I think that Bishop England is clearly the best team in the region. Although I still think May River and Bluffton will have something to say about that as we go on here. So don't count out the Sharks. Don't count out the Bobcats. Looking forward to seeing. Those matchups between those two schools, and we'll have to get you update on when that match will be made up when we get the information. And it's tough because I was hoping that one of these Lowco schools would be able to knock off Bishop England. Maybe it's still possible, but it does look like the Battling Bishops are the front runners right now. So the match on the 26th will obviously be postponed. They're scheduled to play on October the 17th, which is the same day as the Hilton May River football game, which not the best scenario for us because we would like to have seen both of those, but schedule will be what it will be.
That's right. It is what it is. Bishop England does have to come to Bluffton and May River yet. So, like you said, don't count them out of that yet.
100%.
Home court
I think. I think like any sport with this region, it can definitely be wide open for anyone to take. That's definitely a case right now with football. It was the case with baseball last season, and no matter what sport it is, I always find this region so interesting to watch because you just never know who's going to come out on top, which I always find so fascinating and so much fun to watch any sport in this region. But yeah, I think Bishop England's a favorite right now, but I don't see Bluffton or May River that far behind Bishop England right now. And I'm intrigued to see how they do when Bishop England comes to town and plays both May River and Bluffton. So it should be very interesting.
Yep, should be good. Let's see if we got anything else today. I don't see much else. We were supposed to have cross country Hampton on one girls tennis match, but not much happening. JP2 tennis won yesterday against Lawrence Manning 7-2. They're now 9-3 overall, 5-1 in region. They're really good at the top. Anson Daniel and Cypress Daniel are outstanding. So they got some juice over there. JP2 volleyball. We mentioned this last night, but they swept Lawrence Manning 3-0. They are, I don't know what their record is, but it's real good. But they did lose to Hilton Head Christian the other night. Hilton Head Christian's on a heater. Yeah. They started out struggling, but they played some serious competition early, and now they're kind of rolling. Just trying to find their volleyball page here, because I remember seeing that they've been on a heater. They are 6-4 overall, but they lost their first 4, and then they won the next 6. So they've been beating everybody, and won that 5-setter against JP. They were supposed to have Lawrence Manning tomorrow night. I guess they probably won't. And then they got Wilson Hall, who they already beat once, and Trinity Collegiate, who they already beat once, coming next week. And then JP2 and Hilton Head Prep, who they already beat once. So
yeah, don't
sleep on them. They look like a contender.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They are who we thought they were.
No doubt.
What else? Anything else come across y'all's radar today?
It's kind of a light week, kind of light day. We were supposed to have a lot more tomorrow. Unfortunately, there wasn't much else today on our radar in terms of local sports. But it's we're starting to look ahead, and there's a lot this weekend, especially golf. We talked about that Rosie Jones golf tournament coming up, and there's a lot more coming into this weekend as we look towards, obviously, a huge week of high school football, and then some I'm excited to see how that golf event goes, because you got May River, you got Hilton Head, you got a bunch of strong teams in the local compete against each other, and it's always been a prestigious tournament. So that should be fun to see how that one goes, especially when it's at home, because we don't get to see all the time how they perform here at home. They travel a lot around this time of year, so that should be pretty cool to have a home, basically a home Lowco on Lowco golf meet. We also have the Beaufort County Championships for cross country that's scheduled for this Saturday. And then
how's that going on?
That's I'm not sure where. We'll have to find out where it is. Yeah, I remember competing in that many years ago. I'm sure it may have changed locations.
Yeah, it's been a couple different places over the years. I wonder where they're running it this year.
Yeah,
I got baseball practice in the morning Saturday, but
we still have we still have the women's soccer game scheduled. USCB taking on North Georgia. I would think that game will most likely be played, but certainly I always check the weather. I would assume that by then we should get the field in proper condition for that matchup. And if you're free, head over to Finland Field for what should be a tremendous women's soccer match. It should be a 2:00 kickoff.
2:00 kick?
Yeah.
Good times indeed. Well, let's shout out some more sponsors. The MVP sponsors of LowcoSports. We've got our new apparel partner, Base Hit Life, providing cool baseball and softball apparel. They've got some special Halloween styles out right now. Got stuff for men, women, and kids, hats and hoodies as well. But the designs available on T-shirts and hoodies. There's your Halloween designs, bad to the bone. Check out basehitlife.com and start living your best Base Hit Life. We've also got homegrown home inspections. They're the best in the Lowco when it comes to checking on a home and making sure you're making a great investment in the real estate market. And if you're building a new home, you've got to have the phased inspection where they'll check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right with homegrown home inspections. And Hospice Care of the Low Country, our official hospice provider, providing palliative care, hospice care, and free grief counseling, plus much more. And Hospice Care of the Low Country, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And then the USCB Center for Low Country Tourism Education, headed up by our friend Coach Beach from Hilton Head. They're providing all kinds of great services to our community, including the USCB Hilton Head Ambassadors and Bluffton Ambassadors, Island Ambassadors, that's what it's called, and Bluffton Ambassadors, where you can learn more about your community and how to spread the word to the visitors and the newcomers to our area about the great history and traditions of the Low Country. So thanks to all of our MVP sponsors. And boys, shall we dive into the power rankings? Should we get into that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me get them pulled up here. We'll pull up what last week's looked like, and then we'll get into yeah. We'll pull up what last week's looked like, and then we'll get into what we're gonna switch up this week. All right, here we go. Power rankings. All right, I believe Max, you started last week.
Yeah.
So do you wish to lead us off here? Here's what you had last week.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Obviously, Hampton falling this week. So who's your new number one?
My new number one is May River. I think they are obviously the only remaining undefeated team right now in our Lowco area, which is a huge deal. They've been one of the more solid, most well put together teams in the Lowco area. I've really liked what I've seen out of them. They've played really well. They had a bye week. They come into this one. They have an away game. I don't remember who it's against, but
Georgetown.
Yeah, that's right. Should be an interesting matchup up there, and they're not back at home until October 4th. So this should an interesting couple weeks for May River coming up. But I really like how they're playing, so I had to put them at number one after Hampton's loss.
Justified.
Number two, Hilton Head.
Yeah.
Now, after that win against Hampton, I think people are starting to realize that, oh no, Hilton Head's actually a team to be seriously worried about. They may not have the depth that other teams in the 4A region have, but even so, they've just shown everyone that they can be a team that can hit you hard, and you don't see it coming. You're in serious trouble. And I think they've just shown that to everyone, especially to Hampton County, who's been one of the top teams in this area for the last season, 2 seasons now. So I think this is it was a huge win for Hilton Head. It doesn't really matter for them, but it definitely means something to those fellas over at the Nest. So great win for Hilton Head. I'll put them at 2. Number 3, Hampton County. Yeah. I think they've just found out that they have weaknesses that they need to fix. I think Hilton Head kind of gave them maybe a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. Hampton makes a mistake, Hilton Head made them pay for it. And that's something that Hampton does very well. If the opposing team makes a mistake, Hampton finds a way to make that mistake really hit hard to the other team. So I think Hilton Head kind of gave Hampton a taste of their own medicine last Friday. Hampton's obviously got some things they need to figure out, and I know they will with that coaching staff they have over there. They're definitely going to figure it out, and they're going to be okay as the rest of the season goes on. And who knows, maybe they end up back at the top name on that list of power rankings. Well, we don't know. We'll find out. Number 4, Bluffton. I liked how they played. That was a team I wanted to see against Hampton County 2 Fridays ago, and they've showed up. They showed out against a Lucy Beckham team that is not an easy team to beat, but they beat them and convincingly beat them.
Yeah.
And really solid win by Bluffton. That's a good win to have as you head towards region play. Gets them back on the right foot. And, after two very tough losses to Savannah Country Day and Hampton County, they get back on the right foot, get a win versus a 5A school. That's a big deal. And a really, really solid work and really nice job by Bluffton on both ends of the ball. McCarthy was firing on all cylinders, and that's what you want to see for Bluffton, is to have your team working well together and improving on mistakes that they had made in previous games, and they definitely did that. Number 5, Beaufort. I think Beaufort, I'm still not quite sure about yet. They're going to be okay. They just haven't had a full, healthy team this season. So I don't know what to expect out of them quite yet. And I'm hoping that they'll have somewhat of a healthy team when region play starts, or else they could be in some trouble. But, I'm okay. I think Beaufort's going to be okay. I think once they get their players back, they're going to be fine. I'm not worried about them at all, but I dropped them down just because I'm still not fully convinced on them yet. And I just got to see them have a really solid game with a full, somewhat healthy team. So for that reason, I put them at 5. Number 6, Battery Creek. I really, despite the loss to Beaufort, I really liked how Battery Creek played. They did really well. Especially when they had players out for that game as well. Both teams had players out, but Battery Creek fought. Yeah, it wasn't the score you wanted to see, but I think they're on the up and up. This is the best. I'll say it again. This is the best looking Battery Creek team I have seen in a really long time, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that. What Ed Susie is doing with this program is absolutely outstanding, and I'm really happy that they hired Ed Susie to be the program's head coach. It was a great move, and it's going to really help Battery Creek. And, I'll say this, give 2 to 3 years from now, but if they play Beaufort, it could be a really good matchup. I think the way this program is going up, I really like what I'm seeing from Battery Creek. So I'll put them at 6. Number 7 for right now, Colleton County. Despite the loss, that's a 5A program who had a really tough schedule to start out, opening up against Somerville. Colleton County was basically their easiest out-of-region game this season. Despite that, I think Colleton County's got a team that can really surprise some people, like I said earlier on the show. I think they're a team that you don't want to, play easy with. You don't want to mess with them because they can shock you. So I'll put them at 7. 8, Whale Branch. Now, this is the team that I'm having the most, questions about. This is the team I'm worried about the most right now. And the reason for that is they've lost 2 straight games at home by quite a bit. And it's very worrisome. And I'm sure Jerry Hatcher is trying to figure it out right now. But, what they've done so far this season is just, for me, it's been a bit disappointing. I expect more out of Whale Branch, knowing what they can do as a program. I'm disappointed in how their season's gone, but I know they can make a turn. They can get back on the right track when region play begins, hopefully. But I really need to see that offense play better, especially their running game. It just hasn't been there, and it's unfortunate. But I hope they can fix those mistakes as the season continues and hopefully make the playoffs. But I have a lot of questions about them, and I'm not sure what's going to happen as the season continues. But I really do hope that Coach Hatcher can get them back on the right track. Number 9, Hardyville. We're going to keep those 9 and 10 there. That game's coming up.
We'll settle it this Friday.
It's coming, man.
Settle it soon enough.
Yeah, I know. I like how Hardyville and Richland have been playing. They've been facing some tough opponents, this season. Their out of region schedule has been quite difficult. And so I expect when region play begins that it's going to be much more competitive games for them and possibly quite a few wins from both teams. But I think, like I said last week, that Richland Hardyville game could be the key to making the playoffs, even though I do think both teams could very much so make the playoffs this year. So I'm intrigued to see how they do. especially when they face off against each other. It's gonna be a good one. It's the one to watch, I think, when it comes around, because it's the first time these two schools have played each other in a very long time. So I'm excited for it. But for right now, I'm gonna leave Hardyville and Richland where it is.
All right, Wes.
These very similar to what you have, except I have one change, and I put Colleton over Battery Creek. I put Colleton at 6 instead of Battery Creek. Reason being is that power rankings are different than just overall road rankings where, okay, this team has a better record, this team is a better result. Power rankings is more like, how competitive will this team be? How good is this team compared to the other teams in the Lowco? And their out of region schedule has been very, very difficult. And they come out of this a team looking like a team that has potential to be a factor, or at least maybe a spoiler in this region. I mean, look who they played. They played Hampton County, Woodland, and Lower Richland. All three very strong opponents.
About Woodland.
Yeah, they did not do themselves any favors with the schedule.
Yeah. And they were semi-competitive in these games, although I don't know, it tells a little story depending on if they kind of got back in within it late or they hung around. But even so, I thought they showed some good things in those games, and I think they will. And they got a nice 50. They took care of business against Stahl in pretty strong fashion, 50-0. And obviously Stratford game tonight, another very good team. So, are they at the level of those top 40 teams? No, but I think that they have shown that they can be a problem if they put it all together, and at least just be a pesky team to go up against in this region. And so I believe in Adam Kinlock in that team. I think better opportunities, better Friday nights are ahead for the Cougars, and so I put them just over a Whale Branch team that's still trying to find itself. And Coach Susie and the Warriors, or the Battery Creek Dolphins rather, have done a terrific job. No shade there to Creek. They got 2 strong wins. Obviously JP2 and Bowman, but Buford losing 34-7. I expected a little bit better effort in that Buford game. And Keenan as well, 26-0. So Keenan's still a pretty good team. I put them in my top 10 for
they're right there.
Yeah, but I expect the better effort against Buford. Give Buford credit because they wanted that game. But
did you have Creek ahead of Whale Branch?
I did. Had Creek over Whale Branch. Yes. Whale Branch. I've not been sold from what I've seen, especially the eye test. The eye test looms large. When you go to a game and you see a team in action, it just did not look the part for me.
Yeah.
So I need more from.
I'm right there with you on Colleton. I am struggling with Whale Branch Battery Creek because I saw Battery Creek this week, but they weren't their full selves.
Right.
Whoever is, whoever is at this point in the season. So I'm really torn on that one. Man, I'm going back and forth on this. I think I'm going back to Creek ahead of Whale Branch. But it's the narrowest margin in here, and I'm flipping Ridgeland at Hardyville.
That game on Friday between those two teams is going to be one for the books. I think it's going to be a good game if both teams can be healthy going into that game.
Yeah, I think it's a really competitive matchup.
Buford's going to be there for it.
I like both the quarterbacks. Yeah, because Buford's off, right? So but I'm flipping Ridgeland ahead of Hardyville. The injuries are just too much for the Canes right now. I just can't see them being able to contain Wentz and MJ. He's tough. Xavier's tough. I think Ridgeland's just got a little bit more horsepower right now, based on who all I know is out this week.
Boy, you're gonna be thrilled tomorrow, man.
No, obviously, I think they'll understand.
No, but I don't.
Hey, it's bulletin board material, right? That's
not what I'm going for, but it's just what it is.
I think it's not a wrong call. Everyone has their opinion, but I I do agree with you. I think right now Hardyville is dealing with a lot of injuries, but I hope as region play comes along, they can get back into some sort of healthy shape as a program, as a team, and hopefully they can make a run for it. But yeah, that
There's
game
some
against
solid
Richland,
individual talent, but like I was so high on our offensive line going into the season, but two starters, arguably the two best starters, are out with injuries and have been. So like one could come back Friday, and that would be a factor, but we won't know till tomorrow. So I don't know. It's a lot of missing parts and not a lot of guys standing around to step up, So I just think the numbers are getting down to a point where I think Ridgeland's going to be able to wear them down, but we'll see. Obviously, I'm hopeful. But on the Skiza side, and before we get into the Skiza rankings, we'll mention the varsity sponsors of LowcoSports. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, and maintains websites. If you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helps us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Loco. Dr. Ambrose Coles, our official chiropractor. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor, presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Take your skills on the mat to the next level at Reverence Wrestling Club. To the Skiza rankings, boys. Max, we'll let you lead us off. Any big changes here?
Only one change towards the bottom. I'm putting Hilton Head Prep over JP2 this week.
Neither played this week, but you changed your mind.
Yeah, I thought through it for the last week or so. I actually trust Prep more than I do JP2 right now. I don't trust JP2 whatsoever. It's unfortunate because I was really hoping JP2 was going to have a good year this year, but it's just not gone their way at all, and it's been very unfortunate for them. And the defense is there, the offense it's just not showing up, and it's unfortunate. I think Hilton Prep still got a couple wins up their sleeve this season, but right now for JP2, I don't know if I see a win right now for them. It's unfortunate.
Assuming the Augusta Eagles still make the trip on Friday, they should take that one.
They should win that one, but outside of that one, I don't. I just don't. I don't see a win.
It's hard to see. It's
unfortunate.
I think Hilton Prep right now, decently sized favorites. Although I think there's still a way JP2 could find a way to get that one in the win column. That should be a competitive game. I just don't see the offense needs to take a step forward for JP2. We've seen some some promising signs at times, but there hasn't been as much consistency as we've been hoping for from them, and the blocking has not been to the level where they need to be to really find consistent success in running the football, and you need to see some elevated play from who's ever in the center. They've had a couple of guys, take some time at the quarterback. Can they find that go-to guy? And we see some of Wolf, we see some Brown. Can somebody really be that guy and step up for him? But some stuff to work on for JP2. I don't have any changes, although I will say Patrick Henry. They've taken a little bit of a tumble recently. That 30-7 loss Bethesda was kind of concerning. I thought there'd be a little more.
I did make one change this week. I bumped Colleton up ahead of Patrick Henry.
That's fair. Yeah,
I thought about it. Yeah,
a row for Patrick Henry.
Yeah. It's close. It's tight for me. I still barely have him ahead, but I can see why Colleton Prep makes that jump this week. But yeah, Patrick Henry, obviously Michael Tucker Math is an exceptional player, but
he is
a lot of losses from what we used from last year. They took losing the Ferry Boys. That's losing multiple players in one.
They just don't have as many weapons, and teams can really key on Michael Tucker Mathis and take him away, and you can't shut him down.
The only reason,
then you beat him.
Yeah, the only reason Patrick, I thought they were competitive in that BA game. I liked what I saw there, so I still am slightly ahead of Colleton Prep because the Warhawks, they did get a win recent, 26-0. That's a strong shutout over Clarendon Hall. But for Colleton Prep, they've had a couple of they've played some solid teams.
Yeah.
I still want to see a little bit more. Thomas Hager is good, but 33-0. I guess that was kind of
I guess that's the one. They were down a couple players.
Yeah, you're right. They weren't first ranked.
I've
That's
kind of
another
ripped
thing.
that one off a little bit.
It's tight. It's very tight. We'll definitely learn more about.
I was probably more eager to tinker than anything, and that was the only viable.
I'm gonna keep Patrick Henry where they are for right now, but that definitely could change depending on.
Doesn't change the overall ranking, just my line.
Yeah.
So, regarding JP2, I just want to remind everyone what their remaining schedule is, just so we can get an idea. So they got the Augusta Eagles. Whether or not they have that game take place, we don't know. Then they got First Baptist away in Charleston. Then they're at Prep. That could be an interesting game. And then they play Christian Academy again, which I still find that extremely hilarious and just plain out stupid at times. And then they finish off their season against Pinewood Prep. So you basically have to finish your season against the two toughest teams in the region. Yeah. It's very difficult for JP2. And by the way, First Baptist, despite their 1-4 record, does not look like a terrible team.
No,
that's playing a very tough region.
That's the most winnable one.
I have a very unusual feeling that game against First Baptist will not go JP2's way.
Yeah, that's the most winnable one, but the fact that they put 35 on Porter Goud is kind of scary.
Yep.
They put 64 on St. John's.
St. John's, yeah, I saw that. Ooh. Then they only lost by 6 to Trinity Collegiate.
Yeah.
I mean, you just
that's the best shot that JP2 has aside from Augusta Eagles. But it's schedule's not shaping up. Well, yeah, that's true. Sorry. Prep.
Yeah.
That's a toss-up game. I would say that's one score.
And it's at Prep. That should be a good one. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, afternoon delight. Gleaming sun of sea pines.
Afternoon delight.
So that's our power rankings. I think Jimmy's going to pop in here in a minute and tell us more about the Colleton County game tonight. But anything else you guys want to talk about going into?
You guys were talking about my boy, JP Baduzzi, last night.
Sure were.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hop on, but you guys were talking about him and the road he's been on. I've known JP since, good Lord, probably since the day he was born. To be honest, I've known him and his family forever, and to see JP become the young man he is today has been an absolute honor and privilege to watch him. To watch him grow up to what he is, and he's been great at Washington and Jefferson. I would love to get up there and watch him play a game one day. It'd be really fun. Watching him at the high school level was just so amazing. I remember I came home from college, fall of 2020, and it was the semifinal games for Christian Academy. They were trying to get in, and they would eventually win that game and go on to the state championship. But they were down 21 points going into the second half.
That's right.
And out of nowhere, I wasn't paying attention. All of a sudden, this massive throw by Jace Blackshear just goes soaring through the air, and I see JP Peduzzi all by himself, and he just like blew right by the defenders, and I was like, my God, this kid's gonna be special when he gets to college. And sure enough, he's made a name for himself at Washington and Jefferson. He's fantastic. But like 2 straight plays of JP Peduzzi blowing by the coverage and just catching the football to give the Eagles only down by 7, eventually winning that game and then going on and winning the state championship.
I was there. I was there for that one.
So it's great to see him playing the way he is, and my God, those numbers from his last game are absolutely outstanding.
Well, it's not just the last game either. It's so through 3 games, he leads the President's Athletic Conference in receiving yards with 400 and in receiving touchdowns with 5. So he's averaging 133.3 receiving yards per game, lighting it up. This league, it's D3 league with some heavy hitter academic institutions like Carnegie Mellon, Case Western, Allegheny, Bethany, Teal. So it's some pretty heavy hitter academic schools up in the Northeast. But yeah, JP Peduzzi pulling out in Washington.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he moves up. Maybe plays FCS football. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely going to be an opportunity for him to jump in that portal if he has eligibility left when he completes his degree. So
it would be interesting.
I would assume that
he definitely deserves to, I think, play at a higher level the way he's been playing. Because last season, believe it or not, he had a really good year last year. He wasn't the number one receiver for the team, but he was the number 2. I mean, he had a really
right up there. He had a big year.
He had a really good year, and he had all region honors as well. So I mean, he was really good last season. He's even better this year. I mean, you keep improving, teams from higher up divisions are going to start paying attention to you.
Yeah, last season he had a really good year. Well, his freshman year he had 54 catches for 915 and 8 touchdowns. Then last year he had 62 for 1126 and 18 touchdowns. And he's off to a great start this year with 16 for 405. So well on his way to another big year.
Yeah, 100%.
I could see him as a slot guy at the next level.
Absolutely.
At a higher level of college, I mean. And goodness, I don't know what his physical specs are, but we've seen some pretty small dudes make it as slot guys in the NFL, like the Wes Welkers and guys like that. Yeah. Now, Wes Welker was like abnormally fast. So that
Dude was a beast. Dude was just lightning fast.
He was unbelievable. But hey, we've got our buddy Jimmy Searson here. He hasn't been able to join us much this season. He's been lamenting it, but we got him here in studio now. What's going on, Jimmy?
Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all doing okay?
Doing good.
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Tired.
How was your time over at the Colleton game? Tough.
Yeah, it was good
for the Cougars.
Yeah, Colleton County, they played tough and probably for a quarter and a half. It was 21-14, like halfway through the second quarter, and then the bottom dropped out. It started pouring down rain, and after that, the Cougars they just couldn't stop Stratford from moving the ball and scoring. Stratford's got some playmakers on that team, but it was a tough night for the Cougars. They dropped 1-4 on the season.
Yeah.
Tough schedule, like I said earlier.
It has been a tough schedule. Really tough schedule. What'd you think of the quarterback? They made a quarterback change, right? The Frazier kid played tonight?
No, it was actually number 8. I think it was Sean Williams that played. He played the majority of the snaps, but the other guy that you said, the Frazier kid, he came on and played every now and then, but it was mainly Sean Williams that played. But Sean Williams, he looked good throwing the football. He's got an arm on him. He made a couple of long passes downfield, but they just couldn't put the ball in the end zone, and the defense struggled in the second half.
Yeah,
they just couldn't stop, Stratford. Yeah.
Well, your Eagles finally got a win Friday night. That was good to see. I was impressed with the backup quarterback. Caleb looked good back there. I'm always amazed at Libron's ability to, dial up an offense on the fly that fits the personnel he's got healthy. And I thought they did some interesting things there. He's impressive athletically, the Stephen kid. Like, I look forward to seeing him back out at wide receiver when he gets Samari back. And I think y'all are still going to be okay, man. I'm sure you feel the same.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally got their first win. That'll help the kids get more, momentum and not let their guard drop, But yeah, Caleb's Stephan, I was impressed with him too. I know he's a senior, and I heard that he transferred in from Japan because he's in a military family. But he's impressed me, especially at wide receiver this year. He's caught some good balls. But he's impressed me as a receiver. But now as quarterback, the backup quarterback, he looked really good against Battery Creek.
He did. He threw a couple dimes. It was nice. He reminds me of Colton Ferris a little bit. He just does a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I agree. He does look a lot like Colton Ferris. He's got a good arm on him, and yeah. Well,
yeah, he's pretty nice.
But have you heard anything if Samari's going to be back? He was dressed out for the Battery Creek game, but he didn't never play.
Right. It sounds like he'll be back for the Bluffton game, and Amari told me that there's a chance he could be back, that he had an appointment, in the days leading up to the Bluffton game, that if he got cleared, then he might be able to go. But it sounds like he's still kind of up in the air, but it sounded like Samari will be good to go. So they just, with the week off this week, they wanted to just play it safe.
Yeah, that's the right call.
Yeah,
I agree.
Let him rest over the bye, and then you have a chance to get him back for when it really matters, region play. But obviously, some disappointing aspects of the start of this season. But everybody's 0-0 when you get back in the region play. That's the beauty of it. So, what are you going to take away from the first half of the season with that 1-4 start against some talented teams? Goose Creek, Phillipson's, Greenwood, Fort Dorchester. No easy games in those, and then you get the get right Battery Creek win. They'd earn it, but they got the job done. So, just your overall takeaways from the first half of this season as you get ready for what should be a challenging region slate.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I still think Beaufort's going to compete for the region. I'm glad that Coach Livren played these tough 5A teams. I think that only helps them come region season. So I hope Beaufort continues to play these tough teams. But the region, this will be a fun region. May River looks like the team. The favorite right now, but you don't know with these rivalry games. Because even Bishop England's like 3-1 entering. Yeah. I think they played
Bishop
tonight.
They'll be in this.
And they beat Philip Simmons.
Yeah. Don't forget about Bishop England. I mean, I don't want to be the Lowco, right, the anti-Lowco guy, or like going against our local team, but I'm just saying that Bishop England is going to be a factor, and it's not going to be an easy win for any of our teams. So I mean, you got. This could come down to some tiebreakers. I feel like it really could. It's really tight.
Oh, Bishop England and Woodland played tonight. You're right.
Ooh,
you can find that.
Yeah, I thought they played tonight. I hadn't heard that score.
I can see if I can look up Twitter. And,
I'm looking for it. 27-10 Bishop England.
Ooh,
that's
That's
a pretty strong win. That's a strong win.
Well, that's a bit scary.
That's a good win for them.
That's
impressive.
interesting now. It makes it interesting for sure. Because
Woodland's not an easy team to play. I know Woodland's, on a lower division than
Yeah, but they were undefeated and they've been rolling people.
Yeah, like that. Woodland's been really impressive. I mean, I had them locked in my my top 10 this week, and they've rolled over Royal Branch and have taken that momentum. And
I had them a number 5 in my top 10.
Oh, yeah, 4-0. So this will be the first loss.
I was a Woodland believer.
The Wolverines, but yeah, Bishop England. They look like they're going to be a factor. I mean, I don't think we expected them to.
And we add another team to the group chat, don't we? It's just, my goodness, this region never ceases to surprise me.
Yeah,
it's a ton of fun. I mean, it's like you got what you got five teams that are right there next to each other. How fun is this going to be? Like, seriously.
How are you supposed to know?
So this makes me wonder. This makes me wonder: is there actually some positive effect to the privates and charters of being moved up a classification or two? Because Bishop England was a not very good 2A team last year. They got rolled by Hampton in the playoffs in the first round. They were not strong. They were like 2-8, and they're a good 4A school right now. So maybe there's some attraction to playing 4A football that they underestimated. Maybe people didn't want to go play 2A football and be in the advantage. What are they saying? They're saying no competitive advantage. That's their hashtag for Bishop England football. But because there's no competitive advantage anymore.
And Bishop England,
4A. Yeah,
Bishop England's got they got a new head coach too.
Yeah, well,
no one thought they would. They didn't think they would be this good this year.
Yeah, they turned it around fast. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah,
that is scary.
They're legit contender in this region. Embarked by what they did against a very good Woodland team.
Let me ask you this: we did our power rankings for the Lowco, but where would you slot them in the region?
Ooh, we should do like region power rankings as well
because
we have teams outside of our region.
I think we can start that. I think we can start that next week. We can start that next week.
Oh boy, that's so difficult to think about, especially in that region, man. That region is just absolutely.
I'd still go May River ahead of them, and I think I'd put them between Hilton Head and Bluffton right now.
I would.
Needs to put them as high as second, maybe. In my opinion, especially what they did tonight, I'd put them as high as second.
You put them ahead of Hilton Head.
They're right in Hilton Head's level right now.
Well, Hilton Head beat Hampton worse than they beat Woodland. So
they did. They lost by 20 to Porter Goud. Bishop England did so.
Porter Goud's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, they're a powerhouse at Skeeza.
Yeah, but then again, they beat Simmons by a touchdown, and then they just handled an undefeated Woodland team. So
no, you can justify it. I'm just using the transitive property of Hilton Head beat Hampton worse than Bishop England beat Woodland, so I still got Hilton Head ahead of them, but it's slim because Hilton Head and Bluffton's a fairly slim margin, and I've somehow squeezed Bishop England in between them. So very narrow margin.
Horrifying to
think about. In the crevices. But then the other thing is the injury piece. Like Buford is what they are right now, but does anybody think that's what they're going to be in 3 or 4 weeks? Like you've developed some depth over there, like the Kwalik Eisner kid. He's
gonna be good.
Oh, athletically, he is impressive, and he's only a sophomore.
Yeah,
he's unreal.
Sophomore, yep.
He's unreal. You get Amari back, and you got him on the other side. You got Stefan, split out in the slot. Like that starts to get scary. So I really. And then the other thing is like Chaz Brown's been out for a while. But the Bryan kid is a load on the defensive line. He's impressive too. So I think Buford's demise is greatly exaggerated, and they're going to be just fine. I'm expecting.
I think so.
But I mean, you look at this region, dude. It's just. I mean, we didn't expect Bishop England to be where they are right now, but
not at all.
No,
we didn't expect Hilton Head to be where they are, and we didn't expect May River.
I think Buford was at preseason, and Buford was overwhelming favorites.
So what I think has happened is that we were right that it was going to be a very competitive region and have a lot of parity, but I think we underestimated like the level of it. I think it's a better region than we anticipated, top to bottom. Maybe Colleton's what we thought they would be. But everybody else, and Buford's been banged up, but everybody else is better than we thought they would be, I think. Maybe Bluffton's about what we thought they would be, kind of inconsistent, but capable of greatness. But certainly we've had some overachievers, and but it still seems like everybody else is right there with them. So it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait. So you got Friday
How's
night
that
off?
Hilton Head defense? That Hilton Head defense looks good, don't it?
Oh, they were legit
pretty
on
good.
Friday. They had a phenomenal goal line stand against Hampton to really get some separation early in that game, and rode off of that. Special teams was terrific as well. They got the fumble recovery on the opening kickoff, and that run game was excellent. A lot of things going well for Hilton Head in that ball game, and love the way BJ Payne is kind of shaped this team this year. I mean, it's relied upon hard-nosed defense. The linebackers have been excellent. The D-line has been doing its job. And then the run blocking, fantastic on Friday night. So I'm excited. Bridge Bowl should be one heck of a game.
Yeah.
Looking forward to delve deeper into it for the preview podcast tomorrow. That will certainly be the game we'll spend most time.
Assuming
preparing.
we all have internet.
So
it's to the storm. Jimmy, where are you going on Friday?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask y'all where y'all are going, but I'm going to go. I'm planning on going to Colleton Prep at Buford Academy. That should be a good game, real good game.
Colleton Prep. Sorry, you cut out for a second there. Who do they got? BA.
At Buford Academy.
Yeah, that will be a good one. That's a real good one.
Yeah,
so that should be really good.
We'll look for your reports from that. Tim Alonso is going up to Georgetown, so you can see his buddies up in college and check out the River game. I'll be on the call, WSAV, on the Bridge Bowl, Bluffton Hilton Head. Wes is going to run back from that one and run point here in the studio since I'll be on the broadcast. And Max will be at HHCA against Pinewood Prep, right?
Yes, I will.
All right.
And I might be able to head over and watch
that should be a great game, too.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's the battle for me. That's the battle for the region title for that 3A division. Region.
What I might do is
the battle for the region title.
Catch some of that Hilton Head Prep game. Because that should be an earlier start, right?
Afternoon delight.
It is indeed.
You know what?
Yeah,
I might be able to hit that prep game.
The double header.
Yeah.
And then our friends from Buford's Own will be at the creek for Whale Branch Battery Creek. So we'll have it covered from a lot of angles.
Oh, okay.
If Battery Creek's back at health, hopefully somewhat, for that game, it could get interesting.
I know Derek said he's supposed to be back.
Yeah.
So that alone makes a huge difference. That's like getting 3 guys back because he does so much.
Back, Whale Branch could be in some trouble. From what I've seen them, how they play here, Battery Creek could be interesting.
Yeah, I thought Battery Creek played hard last week. You know, they were down some key pieces.
Yeah, they did.
But you know, they made y'all fight for it. Like they took the ball away a couple times. They put you in third down situations a lot and made you convert. You know, they moved the ball fairly well. They had some drives just stall out and some turnovers, you know, in your territory. But I thought they competed hard.
That's
and
what
they've got some really nice players. Like also, the quarterback is a dog.
Oh yeah, you know, he's an animal, man.
Yes, I like Olsen.
Yeah, he's so small.
Yes.
Nobody's going to look at him. You know, it's going to be hard for him to get people to look at him because of the size. But man, he plays with the heart of a lion, dude, and he understands the game. You know, I think the young running backs are pretty solid. They're big up front too. Like, I think they're going to be competitive in their region. I really do. I don't think that region's that strong.
I hope they are.
Yeah, I think they will. I hope so too.
I think Battery Creek makes playoffs this year. I really do.
I do.
I really do think they make playoffs this year because I think you know
they only got to win one.
They have the easiest schedule, mind you. I mean, they've
in top 4.
You know, besides Christian Academy, you know, that was their first game on the year, so they were just trying to figure things out in that game. So you know, if they had things figured out, it could have been a different game against Christian Academy, despite the fact it was only 10 points.
They played them tough.
Yeah, it was a good game, and I did like watching that game. But I do like Battery Creek. It's why I've put them higher up on my you know power rankings this week is because despite the loss to Beaufort, I still like how they played. They fought, and that's what I want to see out of this Ed Susie coach team. I want to see a team that's willing to fight despite injuries, despite everything against them. I still want to see them fight and be able to, make some impressions on opposing teams.
You want some hope for the Dolphins in the form of the transitive property?
Yes.
North Charleston, which is sitting at 4-1, they beat Stall 17-8.
Interesting.
Man.
Stall.
North Charleston's 4-1.
Stall, which is, as we know, has not had a good time of it. They've been outscored 141-15, and it was only 17.
Man.
So I think North Charleston's fool's gold. I'm not convinced.
I would agree.
I'm not convinced that OW is actually that good either. And then, Oceanside is what they are, but they're not quite what they've been. And Hanahan is, a decent team, but I think they're beatable.
Winnable. It's a winnable game.
They're beatable.
Here's the teams that North Charleston has faced: Military Magnet, Cross, which I think is I don't know where that school is, but
that's a 1A. That's a 1A in Santee.
Baptist Hill.
Yeah, 1A.
Yeah, 1.
St. John's Christian.
No, St. John's. 1A.
Or St. John's. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
St.
1A.
John's and Stall. Yeah, that is fool's gold. When I heard that North Charleston was 4-1, I was like, "There's no way."
No, they played all mid to bottom feeding 1As and Stall.
I've never seen North Charleston have better than 4-1. My God.
No, but to their credit, at least they finally scheduled a schedule that they could compete.
Well, it gives them a little.
I went a little too far in the other direction, but
it is a weak schedule, though.
A very, very weak schedule.
Here's the thing: after that game, they have Battery Creek, Oceanside, Orangeburg, Wilkinson, and Hanahan.
Yeah,
my God,
it's going to be a bit of a rude awakening in the region.
That's sad. Oh well. Hey, at least they were 4-1. I mean, hats off to them. I don't think I've ever seen North Charleston start out a season 4-1. So.
I know. It got my attention too. Well, hey boys, let's bring this thing in for a landing. We'll let Jimmy stick around while we shut this thing down and give us a parting thought. But the Lowco Booster Club supports us, so if you have a chance, please support them. We've got Court Lifestyle Pros. Daniel and Debbie Court are with Charter One Realty, and they want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, plus custom gift baskets and much more. Go check out their showroom on Argent Boulevard to see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop has it's the place to be if you want to get some great conversation and come out looking stylish. It's over in downtown Ridgeland, so go check out Jay's Barbershop. Say hi to those guys for us. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Chris Odom is the man when it comes to clean floors. Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. I co-hosted again tonight with Rich Basirico and Curry Kirkpatrick, so go check that out. But if you want to get great seafood, great cocktails, and check out a great sunset, go over to Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, the iconic spot on Hilton Head Island. And if you happen to be in Hampton and you're hungry or thirsty, stop in and say hi to them at Hurricane Sports Cafe. Great spot to grab a bite to eat or something to drink and hang out for a while with good folks over at Hurricanes. Gentlemen, before we call tonight, any parting thoughts? Jimmy, we'll let you go first since you're our guest here.
Okay, I was just going to say this is going to be a fun football season, especially in Region 6-4A, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. But we got some great games coming up. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. It should be a good one.
You still got the Eagles winning it, right?
Yeah, I still got them winning it. But it's going to be a fight. Yeah, it's going to be a good fight.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And then I got to shout out Call It the Prep, too. They've been fighting some injuries. Walker Bryan, their star running back, he broke his arm a couple weeks ago. So he's been out. So hopefully he'll be able to return soon. But I think Coach Langdale does a great job with Call It the Prep. So I wanted to shout them out.
10-4. Yeah, I noticed that that Brian wasn't in the stats this week, that it was other guys getting it done. But who was the kid? There was one kid who had a big game that I didn't really know his name previously.
Yeah, Tanner Wolf. Tanner Wolf had a big game. He was running back and he played defense.
And 6 tackles. Really nice game. So, yeah, good shout out.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Brian was out, though. He's an animal. He's a really good player.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Parting thoughts, gentlemen? Wes?
You were off last night, so let me go first.
Yeah, go ahead, Max. Go ahead.
No, he deferred to you, Max. Go ahead.
No.
You
missed, go ahead. I just wanted.
You missed the last show. I'm letting you get the first crack.
Well, Boston College has their bandana game coming up, and this is one of my favorite jerseys in all of college football. Is this?
Oh.
There is a story behind it. I'm trying to look up that story because I can't remember the whole story about it. It is for a former, I believe, Boston College student and possibly a former Boston College football player named Wes Kerr. He was a student, and he was unfortunately taken away during the 9/11 attacks. And one of the things he wore was a red bandana over his head, no matter where he was during school and stuff. But while he was during the September 11th attacks, he saved as many as 18 lives that day. And for those reasons, every year they wear these jerseys to honor him and for all he did for the country and the lives he saved. And so they wear these bandana jerseys. And as you can see on the numbers and actually on the helmets too, to a certain degree, you'll see that red bandana design. And I always think those are the coolest jerseys in college football, and I love them because there's a meaning and a reason behind it.
Yeah, super cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's great. I love those traditions. You have for college football, especially more so than other sports. All the traditions that go into.
There's a look at the back. You can kind of see the bandana strap across the bottom of the helmet.
Yep.
I read that he used the red bandana to cover his mouth and so he could breathe when he was saving the lives. Wow.
Yeah, he did.
That's an awesome pull there.
That's a great one. That's a great one. Yeah. Like I said, I love college football just because of all the traditions that go into it.
I have no idea. I have to look that up.
I hope they win.
Pretty well. They've had some good games this year.
Yeah, there's.
I know Mizzou beat them in a tight game.
So I'm excited to see how they do the rest of the way. Clemson, by the way, facing up against Stanford, which would be
the classic HEC battle.
Yes, realignment has gone crazy this year for college football. So. That should be entertaining for sure.
Last week we had Syracuse and Stanford in a classic ACC.
By the way, it's Western Kentucky who they will face.
Okay, yeah, they're getting that dub. Boston College getting that dub.
There it is. Yeah. But how about it's always a treat for the fans and exciting whenever you clinch a playoff spot. But how about when you do it on a triple play? And that's what the accomplished to clinch their playoff berth. They went around turning a triple play to end the game and clinch a playoff spot. The first time that has ever happened as you would expect, in the history of Major League Baseball. I mean, it's rare to ever see a triple play, but to see one of that magnitude and to be called by the legendary Don Orsillo, the former Red Sox guy, who is one of the best play-by-play men in the sport right now. Great guy, and his call, as you would expect, was tremendous. And just so,
what's even rare about that triple play is usually triple plays just kind of come unexpected, like poor base running mistakes. But no, it was a hard ground ball to third, from third over the second to first, basically around the diamond double play, which is even more rare in baseball today than it's ever been. And for that to happen on the final play to clinch a playoff spot is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Well, we threw Dave Roberts under the bus tonight on Under the Bus because I wasn't watching, but Curry pointed out that he had the bunt on. He had a sacrifice bunt on. So they have first and second no outs, and they have Miguel Rojas up, which means Ohtani is on deck and Betts is in the hole. And he puts on the bunt the first pitch. They don't get the bunt down. He takes the bunt off, and homie hits into a triple play. Like, man, just leave the sack bunt on, move him to second and third, and let Ohtani and Betts take a crack. Like, I know the analytics.
If I've ever heard it.
You're more likely to score the run if you don't bunt him over. But
you get talking guys who would be on deck. You have one of the icon of Major League Baseball.
That's Dave Roberts for you.
Hey, it's minuscule. Dodgers have already clinched their spot. They're thinking about the big picture.
They had a good
Ohtani
year.
finishing off a legendary season, and crazy moment over there with the.
And we still have a race. We still have a race going on, or actually a couple races going on in major leagues for that final,
especially the wild cards.
Final wild card spot between the Braves and the Mets. My Atlanta Braves. A very unusual schedule.
Yeah, my Braves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope the Braves could do it.
I do too. I think they can. They've had their luck against the Mets, so
it could come down.
They won a game against the Mets. They need to win 2 more against them. Although they do have a series starting between the Royals, which I'm trying to understand why that.
Which will be interesting because the Royals are also right there.
And that's the other one I was going to talk about. The Royals are currently trying to find a spot in the playoffs, and I really want the Royals to make the playoffs, man. I really do want the Royals
Bobby
to make
Witt
the playoffs.
is a
I love
superstar.
that team. Bobby Witt Jr. It's a great team, and I really hope they make the playoffs. It's been a while since we've seen Kansas City baseball in the playoffs, and I would love to see some baseball back.
They're in good position. Minnesota and Seattle are both 2 back. So it looks like Detroit and Kansas City will get unless we've seen the Royals play some instance of baseball over the last week, especially when they play the Braves, because if one of those teams sweeps and would probably knock the other team off.
Although, I will say this: unfortunately for the Braves, Austin Riley is done for the year. I did find that out today, actually. Because of I believe it was his wrist. I could be wrong.
Not their year, man. Snake bit.
And yet they're still.
He's done for the year. But on the flip side, they got Ozzie Albies back, so that's a good thing. But even then, I'm just like, I want them to make the playoffs, but I also don't want them to make the playoffs because I want to wait till next season when they actually have a full and healthy team. Although
you never know when you get in.
At this point, I'm looking at free agency, and I'm thinking Max Fried could actually leave Atlanta, and I'm a bit scared about that.
So the last
me too.
The 2 teams in the World Series last year were the 2 last teams in. So
that is true. That is true. And this playoff format, which I absolutely, I just want to say, I'm sure everyone else could agree with me. I do not like the current playoff format whatsoever. And because it doesn't give the teams who win their divisions actual playing time, so they sit around for at least 5 days.
Right. It's just
to play a baseball game.
It's just one of those things that this sport is different than other sports. Baseball is a different kind of sport. It is best played daily. And so when you take that many days off, it is just really hard to just pick right back up and be in the groove. And I don't know how they figure that out. They're not going to contract the playoffs because more
one and done wild card series.
But do we really want to go to?
And the other thing I didn't like about them changing the playoff format is we don't have the game 163s anymore. The 1 game playoff.
I know.
Those are.
I loved 163s.
Yeah.
163.
I did too.
One year where we had a 163 and then a 164.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Oh yeah, that was insane.
Game.
Oh yeah.
And there were 9 games that all went final within 7 minutes of each other and all impacted the playoff race that one season. It was insane. I was on the sports desk at the Island Packet what do I do? I don't know what
the format they had before this one I thought was perfect. Honestly, I thought it was so much better than what this current playoff
The one game wild card play
wild card game. The one wild card, one and done, go home, win or go home. I think they should bring it back. Unfortunately, I really do. Like, I think they need to bring it back.
So it's like this push and pull, right? Because like on the one hand, a 1-game baseball series is absurd because we all know that anybody can beat anybody in one game.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's even worse what happens on the other end with the 1 and 2 seeds getting hosed. So like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know if there's really
like that, that NBA playoff ladder thing is interesting to me. And I wonder if you couldn't do that with baseball where you condense it, but
it would be kind of like we would have to be like a neutral site or like a one team would host it and you have like 3 or 4 teams.
So for example, you could have the 3 division champions get into the playoffs and then the next 4 teams could play a little 4-team tournament.
That was
2 days.
That was like something that I never.
Like 2 days.
I never said it, but that was something
interesting to do a World Baseball Classic style.
Yeah.
Tournament that could be interesting.
Like
an NCAA regional kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of.
But
I don't know if it would work. But I've thought about that.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some logistical fallacies to that one. But this might be an unpopular opinion. I love the 1-game playoff. That was a perfect format. Number one, it gives you a reward for winning division because you avoid that 1-game coin flip.
Right. Yeah,
and it makes it.
But it also means you don't have to sit around as long too.
Right.
It also, the other thing I liked about it is it forced you, if you were in that game, to use your ace.
Yep.
You had to. You couldn't gamble and not use them. You had to use them. So it really gave the higher seed.
That made it prime, like top of the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely exciting baseball. Especially if you remember like some of the Toronto Blue Jays wild card games back in the day.
Every one of those games is like a game 7.
Bautista, Josh Donaldson. I remember watching those games on TV when they were playing in Toronto. That place came alive during wild card games, man. My goodness, especially on that Jose Bautista. Oh, Jim left us.
Jim.
All right, bye, Jimmy. Especially that Jose Bautista moment. I don't know if that was a wild card game.
That was division series.
Oh, the bat flip.
The bat flip was that was
no bat flips.
Yep.
My bad. But
I remember exactly where I was. Yeah, I remember exactly where I was watching that game. My buddy in college was a huge Blue Jays fan. We were going crazy when Bautista hit that home run.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. That is one of the greatest moments in playoffs history, just seeing him flip that bat in the air. That is an amazing moment. But I still, I agree. I think wildcard games are so much fun because the fans are going to be in it the entire game. Yeah. So, it's going to be difficult playing in that atmosphere, no matter where it is, whether it's Baltimore, Toronto,
Bunting,
Atlanta.
I love playoff baseball.
That's the thing I liked about the last playoff format was you had that one wild card win or go home, so you knew everything was on the line to go to the next stage, and I always found that great. But now with this 3-game series, while I kind of like the idea, I kind of don't like the idea because what it's shown me is that teams who've won their division and get a bye from the wild card have to sit for way too long, and then they're just not in shape. Or I shouldn't say in shape. They're not ready to give. I don't know how to.
They should just play an exhibition game against each other. They should just meet up for a little friendly.
The Braves last year, you know what they did while they were sitting and waiting? What they did was played an in-game scrimmage, in-team scrimmage
squad.
But that even that didn't work.
Well, the only team was, despite the bye win, was the Astros in 22. That was the one team that actually.
Dusty.
I don't know if this year's playoffs do the same exact thing that it's done the last couple of years. I would if I'm Rod Manfred, I would be like, I might need to. Yeah, I know.
Right. I mean, it's the baseball season is a 162-game marathon, and then all of a sudden, and the top teams have been put to a position where it's potentially a little bit of a disadvantage just because of these other teams are red hot. Like, look at Detroit. You know what? I would be surprised if Detroit makes a Cinderella run, goes all the way because they're playing the hottest baseball.
They're playing great.
Right
God, my still
family up north has
got to be loving it too.
If you're going to stick with the 3-game series, to me, it makes sense to play a doubleheader on the first day. And that way, if somebody sweeps, you just eliminate the second day completely and you get a jump on the next series.
I like that idea. I think that's the most logical idea, if I'm being honest. That is the most logical idea. And I think it's the right way to do it because then division teams aren't sitting for as long as they currently are right now.
It also gives an advantage to the team. You could even say doubleheader and then single the next day, and they're all at the same site. So like whoever's the higher seed gets them all, and that way you don't have to have travel day or anything. It's like nope, we're playing 2, and then it's like the if necessary game. We playing at 11 in the morning tomorrow, so whoever wins can get on where they're going.
That's the way to do it.
Condensing it is the only way. If you're going to have that many games, the only way to make it work is to condense it.
Because in my mind, this current playoff format is not working, and it's not working well. And they've, Major League Baseball has said they're going to adapt to it, but they haven't, and they won't. Right. In my opinion, they won't be able to adapt to something like that. You just can't sit for 5 days waiting to play a baseball game. It's just not logical. And I agree with you, Justin. I think that idea there is probably the most logical way to actually make this current playoff format work because they're not going to go back to any of the old formats. They want to keep it and then improve on their current format. And I think that's the best way to improve it.
Yeah. I think they could maybe be sold on going to a 7-team playoff format where the 3 division winners get in and then you have a 4-team tournament, single elim.
That would be interesting. I do like
that. That could be fun. You could do that at one side too. The highest seed of the 4 wild cards gets to host all 3 games.
That would be great.
Over 2 days.
The atmosphere for those games would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun to watch.
Me for commissioner. All right, boys. We've gone on way long enough, and we got a big one tomorrow night because we'll do the Lowco Pigskin preview. We won't have anything else to report on, really.
So it'll be more so of a Lowco Pigskin preview than
pretty much Lowco Pigskin preview straight through tomorrow night. We'll get you ready for kickoff the rest of Week 5. We did have one tonight with Colleton County falling 41-14 to Stratford, but the rest of Week 5 will kick off Friday night, and we'll get you ready for it tomorrow night on Lowco Pigskin preview. Thanks to Jimmy Searson for jumping on. His phone died. That's why he disappeared. But appreciate his insight and talking with him. Always big fan of Lowco from day one and good friend to the program. And thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, Mickelson Law Firm, our all-star sponsor. And thanks to all of you for showing up to listen or watch. We'll be back tomorrow night. Lowco Pigskin preview for Wes Kerr and Max Arraj. I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Lowco.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing.